Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. I'm excited to be here. It's Takeoff Tuesday and we get to learn from a really amazing trainer today. As of right now, we have 68 participants on the line. Make sure that you reach out to your team. We don't want any ICMs left behind. These trainings are such a great way to start your morning out with some awesome ideas and just coming together with 50 to 100 people, sometimes more, across the nation who are all building their businesses. Today, we get to learn from Bill Predebon. Bill and I have been in the Scottsdale area. I've been in Renatus for about going on 4 years now. So I've gotten to know Bill really well. He's been doing this for about 10 years now. And he is just killing it on both the real estate side and the marketing side. I don't know if I can say this, but he had a really good month in December. So maybe Bill might want to come out and share the number with us, but it's really, really exciting and just motivates the whole Scottsdale team when we get to see Bill's success. A little bit of Bill's history. He was a pro skier before Renatus, and he was doing that for about 10 years in Vail, Colorado. And he realized that he was not qualified to do much else. He then bought a couple stores and got into franchising, and due to lack of knowledge, that cost him the business and he ended up losing everything. In 2007, he heard about real estate investing. He didn't have the education, he just tried to self-educate, and that resulted in he was upside down in over $400,000 in the 2008 crash. He then found Renatus, and in his first year with Renatus, he made 8 times more than he did the previous year as a loan officer and a realtor. So he really just got to work when he got started with Renatus. And ever since then, he's completed over 130 deals. I think we're up to closer to 150 at this point. And he's grossed multiple seven figures in real estate. I mentioned already he's a marketing leader, so he is on the PIT team with our CEO, Bob Snyder, and others who are striving to be part of the PAC, which is the President's Advisory Council. So he's in training for that. We are very fortunate to get to learn from Bill today. I'm excited what he's got to share. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Keely. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you sound great.
Awesome. Well, I'm pretty excited to be here. I appreciate you, like you already know that. But once again, thanks for making these announcements, making it work, even when it doesn't, restarting it and doing what you need to do to facilitate this training every morning. It's quite the commitment, and it just shows, your dedication to serving first and receiving second. It's awesome. I'll tell you, folks, Keely, Keely has really, good morning, Hilda, how are you? This is perfect for my topic today. And what's cool about this is, I want to be as open forum as possible. Dane Clark and I have been talking about this, and he mentioned it to Michael. We're just gonna, like Renatus, we're going to enhance everything that we do as much as we can, and always trying to improve this medium and platform for you guys and for all of us, actually, not just for you. It's just as much for me as it is for you. So I'm on the calls every single day. But Keely, I'll tell you guys, I just can't wait for her to announce a month that she has that she's just so grateful and thankful and proud of, because she's killing it, you guys. Like behind the scenes, the work that she's doing, and I know you guys are going to relate to this, but she's put a lot of people in front of the room, and she's put some warm market people, and her statistics are not typical of having warm market. Typically it's, a 25-30% close ratio, and she's had some great folks in the room, and we've done one-on-ones with them. We've taken them to private property tours, and for some reason, some of these folks have not funded. She's done well in her business and things are going well. But I'll tell you, she has every reason to be frustrated or quit or whatever it is, and she doesn't. And in fact, she does more. And it's just a testament to what needs to be done when, that 3 foot from gold slogan, that book is amazing. And if you haven't read 3 Feet from Gold, it's pretty cool. That concept is amazing. But she would, in theory, she could let off the gas. She could be discouraged. She could go after real estate a little bit more. She could change direction. She could take a break. There's all kinds of, but she doesn't, you guys. She leads by example in Scottsdale. She shows up day in and day out and serves, and just always bringing guests, like 5-7 guests at a tour, and statistically she should be making 10-20 grand a month, and it's gonna happen. Like, and so what you don't see in your business is the months and the effort and the time you've put together for the last whatever it's been that you've been working your business. But it will come around to you. I promise it will come. I know it. I've experienced it myself, and I've seen it happen over and over again. And so, if you ever feel like giving up or quitting, or you feel like your folks aren't enrolling, or you can't say the right thing, or whatever you're ever feeling, A, it's natural. B, we all go through it. I don't care what level of income you're making in Renatus. And then C, think of Keely. And remember, Keely's in here day in, day out, early in the morning, getting this thing ready, preparing all whatever. I don't even know how. If you said, hey, could you start the webinar? And I can start my own Zoom, but I have no idea how to put those videos up there and all. No. So she's out here doing, and she's still building a business and showing up at events and bringing. And so she's sick. So if you ever feel like, giving up a little bit or just laying your foot off the gas, that's the time you actually pass the car. You actually step on the gas and you run through the red light and you pass the car and you keep going. And that's what Keely Austin represents here, you guys. So great job, Keely. I just want to give you a shout out. You're really awesome. And I'm looking at the things here. Whatever I'm trying to say. It's just great to see all the comments and appreciation of you. So cool. Yeah, there's some good track going on. Dane's got some information there for, we're not changing the format or whatever. So cool. Awesome. Let's kick it off. I'll give you my phone number, 760-533-3141. If you're on chat, you can see it, 760. If you're not, and you're taking notes or in the car or whatever, just take your eyes off the phone and look down and write my number down. I'm kidding. But go ahead. It's 760-533-3141. That is my number. There is somebody that reached out to me yesterday, left me a voicemail message. I will call you back today. I listened to it twice, and I don't know exactly. I didn't get a chance yesterday. It was crazy. It was not a holiday for me, folks. It was a day of work. But I got in 2 workouts yesterday, so I'm pretty stoked about that. So here we go. I don't care what I want. Nobody cares what I want. Just like when we talk to people, they don't care what you want. All right. What I intend is to make Renatus easier. Okay. And when I refer to Renatus, I'm referring to the business, right? Inviting, going through the steps, going through the procedure, the events, and closing and enrolling and starting somebody onto a new path, right? That's Renatus to me. So it's not easy. If it was easy, every single person on this phone in webinar for across the country, for all the effort we put in, we would all be making more money. We would all be living life to the fullest, all those great things, right? Even more so than we already are. However, it is simple. It's a pretty simple process. It's a pretty simple opportunity. And the problem is it's not easy. So my goal is, or my intention here is to start from, I want to hit, I do so much, I don't do theory conversations, but I teach with experience, right? And then we teach on a lot of motivation and all stuff like that. But also we always have to implement stuff. Like and Dane's good at this. And Michael, of course, is dynamic on the things that he comes up with on Mondays and how he implements both mindset and then structure, being planning, which is all the events, and he spells out the events and your calendar, and then he'll implement little nuggets that enable you to take advantage of all these things he's put in front of you, right? So we want to spend more time too on the actual process of making money. Which is enrolling students, which is changing lives, ultimately changing our own life, and getting rewarded for that. So right on. Thanks, Anthony. You're awesome. Good to see you on these calls, bro. Okay. So with that, the goal here, the intention is to make Renatus easier for you. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about some experiences I've had recently, but I want to remind you, as always, if there's somebody on this call who wants to come out and is struggling with something, or I don't care, maybe that's the wrong word, just working on something that's not working, that did work, that they want my opinion on, or my experience on, or want to ask something, or just tell something, or want to work on a subject that's important to you, that's more important to me than what I have to say. So I'm more than happy to read the chat or come off mute and interrupt me, and I don't care. I will go down that rabbit hole with you, no problem. All right, so with that, couple things. So let's see. I was talking to a couple of my students that just recently got 5-starred. Watch out, they're gonna. I just love this couple, and we were doing a little one-on-one last night, and I'll tell you, they just enrolled their daughter. She's 20 years old. She funded her entire education by herself. She's a full-time student. There are no excuses, and I'm gonna lead with this. I'm gonna kind of go over. I gotta remember my little notes here that I made for today's training, but or topic and whatever. But remember, just chat it in or whatever. So check this out. So he said, "Hey, what could you tell her, as someone new, because she's literally just getting started. Like, she's been to multiple events, got enrolled, got a full-time life, and how does she relate to other students her age?" In her sphere of influence, and regardless of her demographic, what would I say to someone brand new, right? Or just getting started, just kind of a little. So my thought to that is this. Number one is I really think that I got to set the stage here, you guys. Let me set the stage real quick. Oh, no, I'll get back to this. That's fine. So what I said was, there's a couple different ways for someone, and like, imagine if you're not new, but maybe you're new to Renatus. And what I mean by that is you've been around for a year, or 6 months, or 4 months, or 1 month, or 2 years, or 5 years, whatever it is, I don't care. And your business, your Renatus business, is not where you want it to be. So you either have been 5-star but never made money, or you're trying to get 5-star for a couple of years, and you've done a couple of real estate deals, or you've been showing up for a couple of years, or whatever your situation is. If there's a point in your situation where, hey, I'm kind of new again, I got to restart, right? It's 2020, new vision, new decade, new year, the whole 9 yards. What are we doing? So this is it. Number one is just the fact that she enrolled, right? So I'm like, okay, so she just enrolled. She spent $20,000 at 20 years old. Okay, for me, $20,000 at 20 years old, I would have had to borrow it from my dad. I would have been like, Dad, I need 20 grand, right? My dad put me through school. Fortunately for me, my dad, as you guys know, is my hero. And so, is chat a bad word to use? I text respond to people saying, let's chat about this opportunity, and they go MIA. So I love opportunity, maybe the word that they're scared of. I love the word opportunity, however, but chat, in my opinion, is a cool word. I'm down with chat for sure. I use that message. I use that sometimes, but discuss may be a little bit more power, or let's discuss the opportunity, or let's explore the opportunity together. Something like that could be a little bit more deep instead of chat. So one of the things that I'll say is, that's a call to action, but posing it as a question, you guys, I'm interrupting my thought. As you guys know, I'm asking, check this out. Yeah, the South African language, I love it. I think it's fine. But possibilities, I love that, Keely, instead of opportunity. But here's what I say. Instead of saying, hey, let's chat about this opportunity, it could be the way that it's posed. And I try to pose it always in a question about them. So remember, our language, Michael talks about this a lot, right? Words mean something. That is from our Leaders Retreat last year, right? Words mean stuff. So when we say, when is a good time for us to get on the phone and discuss the opportunity or discuss the possibility? Wouldn't you like to talk about this a little further, or discuss this more deeply, or whatever the case is? Does that make sense? It's more of a question, and it's about them and what they're capable of, and not, hey, you've gone through some stuff with them and you're like, cool, man, let's chat about this a little deeper. Let's talk about let's chat soon. Let's get together. Like, that's a command. right? Not a question and not an intrigue and not an opportunity for them. It's a command from you. It makes sense. We've got to do call of action, but call to action is very specific as to when you want to make that call to action. But more questions allows you to control that conversation a little bit and actually give them an opportunity to tell you what they want and when they want to do it. So that's what I like. Okay. So my thought is, number one is you just enrolled in this education. And I don't care if you enrolled it 2 years ago, it doesn't matter. But go back to when you did enroll. Go back, like start fresh. Forget everything that has, like if you're a baby, right? And I know everybody's heard this, but what I mean is, when in sports, I can relate to sports in anything, practice makes perfect, right? And so what's the one thing every year that all the teams do, and even businesses, major corporations, right? They go back to the fundamentals. They start the new year off, right? You're at the end of the year, you're looking at your fourth quarter, you're looking at your entire, gross product for the year. You're looking at all exactly back to basics. You go back to these fundamentals, and the fundamentals are, throwing the football, running, conditioning. They're just the fundamentals. They're not even in pads. They're not running plays. They're not complicating anything. So if we go back to Renatus and we just remember what it was like when we experienced it for the first time, and we went like, this is it. It's simple. So for someone new, like 20 years old, or I don't care what their age is, like, right. And here's the thing is, it's okay to just say, hey, you know what? Be authentic. And sometimes when we do this, it's almost like the coin phrase, ignorance on fire, right? And what that means is, you're just shouting out. You're just talking. You're just excited about get excited about what it is that we do. So if you can channel this and rein it in and think to yourself, okay, if I'm going to talk to someone, and we're going to get to this today. So a couple of things that I think that for me, I'm going to talk about my month and kind of how that happened. But when if we can really believe that we're going to talk to one person a week or one person a day, whatever it is that your goal is, when we go back, share your positive experiences. You're exactly right, Rashina, is like just when you're able to just go back and think about the time that you made the decision. Dane used to ask you guys to talk about this, and I don't mean used to, but he's done this a couple times where he'll ask you about, hey, what was it like? What did you feel when you were there and you made that decision and you pulled out that credit card and you made that purchase, right? So the people that are enrolling they're going through the same thing, thinking the same thing, doing the same things. And so, for this girl and her new experience, my thought is like, if you can imagine at 20 years old and she goes to school and she's like, oh, I just bought this new car, all of a sudden we just blurted out like, oh my God, you got to see my ride. It's freaking awesome. It's a Nissan Sentra and it's pimped out. It's got Bluetooth and, auto drive and whatever you talk about. Right. And so you totally have the ability to talk to your friends and your coworkers and your colleagues at school about something exciting in your life. But here we bring in all this experience and all this negativity, or, we confuse it, we complicate it instead of keeping it simple. And so if we go back and we want to make it easier, we just talk about it. Okay. And if you like, I can go into detail on how to talk about it, but there's nothing wrong with ignorance on fire. There's nothing wrong with just shouting out and being like, oh my God, you got to see what I'm doing or see what this thing is. I don't even know what it is because I just got started, but I just dropped 20 grand and it is sick. I'm scared to death. People are gonna be like, what? Like, what are you doing? You're so excited. You know what I mean? Like, people want to know. Like, they might not come that Thursday, but you are just literally talking to people and creating momentum, right? Okay. So a little bit about the way to really hone that in and kind of condense it and kind of focus it and then channel it and laser focus it to when you're talking to people is, and this is obviously the more events you go to, right? You're going to actually physically, like Bob was just talking about, your Super Saturday and you're there to train and learn. This call, you're there to train and learn. And literally taking one or two of those things and then coupling it with a little bit of real estate studies on your education. And now you have points to make. You have a story to tell. from someone's story, and you have points to make about what it is that you do. Like if you're like, oh my God, you should see my car, and it's so awesome, and it's this Nissan, and I just put 20 grand down on this baby, and it's all mine. And they're like, oh my God, is it fast? How does it handle the corners? Or what's the stereo like? Or, can you, does it drive for you? Does it have that auto stop? Have you tried that? And you're like, no, I haven't really driven the car. Like I just bought it, right? Like, no, you're gonna tell them your experience and what you've done, right? What you like, oh my God, I took it off the lot and I was doing 80 and it didn't even feel like I was going 20. So you're gonna tell them your experience with your new car. If you have no experience, or if you feel remorse, if you feel negative about sharing your experience because you haven't done a deal, or you haven't made any money, or you haven't enrolled a student, or you haven't done anything, I don't care if it's 5 years or 5 minutes, then that negative comes in there. You're not going to talk about your car like that. You're like, well, I've never really taken it on the highway, and I went around the corner and stopped at a stop sign. No, you're not going to say that. You're going to be like, oh my God, this is what I did. You're going to talk about what you did, how you drove it, how it feels, what it smells like. Same thing here. It's like, oh my God, like this class, I can't believe it. Like, oh my God, you got to see these people. Oh my God, this guy made 70 grand. Oh my God, this guy made 30 years old, made $800,000. Like, you're gonna be like, oh my God, like this is, I was there the other day and I saw this, it was 300 people at the event. Oh my God, like you're gonna talk about, like, you're not even doing a call to action. You're not even asking them if they're interested. You're not even asking them to go buy a Nissan Sentra. You are simply talking about what's important to you, right? As if it's a normal conversation you're having about food, about a movie, about a car, about a life situation, about kids, about school, whatever it is that you do. If we keep it simple, then and we make it easy to talk to people about this, and forget about the money and forget about trying to get them to an event and all those things, people will start to appreciate who you are. So I'm in this one-on-one yesterday, and she hasn't even. So this goes back to so many things. So I'm going to set this foundation. Well, no, I'll finish it up with the foundation. So I'm in I did 2 one-on-ones yesterday, and they both are dynamically different. And you're going to learn from this. And I learned from it, and I'm brought back to the basics. I'm brought back to the beginning from this, and I'm going to tell you. So I'm meeting with this girl yesterday morning, and she's a friend, a warm market friend of one of my students, and she loved it from the beginning. But we were looking up Credit Nerds, and she went through Credit Nerds in May of last year, right? So she saw her first event almost a year ago, and the timing was crappy. She wanted to get started and wasn't ready. Things weren't lined up in the stars. Like if you remember my training on that circle, either you just got a new job, or life's all over the place, and you're just starting your downfall. Not downfall, but you're just starting the negative stuff. If you got divorced or lost a job, or got moved or transferred or didn't get promoted, it starts the bad side of the coin. And then the upside of the coin is you got a new job, you moved, you just had kids, you got, whatever it is, back to school, you get, and it goes back up to the top. And so up here, you're all happy, so timing's not right. But it's down in this bottom section down here where we catch people and they finally are ready to make a change. So cool. So I'm talking to her. So it's been a year. And so she came to a property tour. She came to a Super Saturday. She's going to nationals. She's just excited about the opportunity, right? And she's always been, but the time was right. So I'm having a conversation, and already she's like, I can't wait till, I've done my first deal, and I've got to have that. And it's natural. I've got to have that backing, right? I've got to have that experience that I can share with people. I can't wait for that. But in the meantime, I know I'm going to be marketing. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, she wants to do the marketing, but she's not in her mind. And of course, she hasn't even enrolled yet. She's just enrolling right now. We're placing her order this week. We got up all through the funding, figured out the funding yesterday. She's buying the combo. It's going to be an awesome deal. She's getting involved. And we figured out where the money's coming from. And so she's stoked, right? And I'm excited to have her on the team and working with her. And she's just a really good friend and one of my friends on my team. So we talk about it, and right off the bat, I'm like, you are a different person. Like, people want to be inspired, right? And people love transparency. I'm just double checking these chats. Happy Tuesday, definitely exciting. This is where I am ready to get some goals. I would like to know how to restart old conversations. Great, we're gonna talk about that right now. So I would like to know how to restart old conversations with people who are interested in the business. Want to send a Facebook hello to my business, about my business. Okay, so I'm gonna cover that here in just a second. Great question, great thought. People want to be inspired, and they want to, I believe they want transparency, right? And they don't want the hype. They don't want they're not, it's a different time. Like, things are really good right now, economy wise, market wise. There's a lot of opportunity for people, credit wise, banking wise, job wise. Things are, people probably got raises and bonuses this year. The economy was strong, whatever they're working at. And so, and things are even more expensive than they've been too. You'll notice that influx as well. But they don't want fake, and they want to be inspired, and they want transparency. And so when you start to open up and just expose who you are and what you are, regardless of what your desired outcome is, like you want to change someone's life by enrolling them as a student, and yeah, you get compensated for it. Doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about you sharing your journey, right? And people, whether or not they want to go on a similar journey, right? And so if you think about it, like, how many people in the last couple of years have just heard, you know what, I'm not buying Christmas presents this year, I'm buying experiences for my kids. I want to write down 100 experiences instead of 100 things I want, right? You start to hear about, I want to share life. I want to travel. I want to, right? All that they want to live, right? And so when you are living, like, you have done something that is something that a lot of people don't want to do, but don't want to do. People want to do, but they don't do, right? And so when you start to share and open up, like, not that what I've learned, and this isn't what I've learned, and oh my God, I just learned, and I just realized, and did you know? But just the fact that you are, with this, even with this girl who just started, and she's 20 and she's going to school full time, it's like, hey, what have you ever thought about this, right? And she starts talking to her friends, like, you've got to hear this. Like, I am going, and it may not even be you've got to hear it. Like, just start blurting it out of who she's becoming, and where she's going. And people are gonna be like, huh, like, they may not follow right away. They may wait and see, but they're inspired deep down. And unless it's the point, 0.25 people out of 3 that don't want it. Everybody wants the opportunity to work less, to not be stuck in a job, to have more money, to pay down debt, to just have. They want more, and they want more experiences, but they can't pay for more experiences. So when people start to talk about the things that they're going to achieve and acquire and things like that, and you start to change, that is what people are drawn to, and they're willing to follow. They're willing to look at it and take a chance and figure out what it is that you're looking for. Yes, my clients say that all the time, booking their travel experiences. Absolutely, you guys. It is about just living, right? Get busy living, Shawshank Redemption, or get busy dying, right? And so people, you guys get the point. So I'm gonna address this Andrea thing. We're gonna keep going here. It's so awesome. I just love every one of you to be on this phone. I just think it's awesome how many people are on this call to say and just listening to me, and I just want to inspire myself. So with that, I've got this for you. Andrea says, conversations with people who are interested in the business, like restart old conversations. So I'm going to preface this. Number one is, and I got this from an old mentor of mine that was in the business before, a long time ago. And he said, it's easier and much better and simpler and more, what's the word? Better results. I can't think of how to phrase that. It's just, it's a lot easier to give birth than raise the dead. And what that means is, we will get trapped, and I do this, we will get trapped in going back to old folks and spending time on that, which we still need to do, and then letting off the gas because we did work. We worked our business. We went back to old leads and we went after them. And it takes time. And then we feel like we made an effort when you could have been looking for somebody new, talking to someone new every single day. So with that, I will tell you that it still works. So anytime that I have old leads, I try to stay in touch with them for a certain period of time, right? And that period of time just reminds me of depends on that person and how intrigued they are. Now, I probably have, I don't know, 500 leads of people that I have gone that I carry with me. I rarely go back to them. What I go back to is anybody that has been to a number of events that I'm still in communication with that has potentially been an ICM at one point, or if they're now, Andrea, if they're newer and they're an old lead, like within the last 6 months and you've had conversation with them, great. Or there was someone really special. So if that, follow me on this, what I mean is I pick and choose the people that I'm going to go after that I remember specifically that could be potentially come back around, right? But I cannot spend my time with 500 people because they're not interested. They're not interested. Now, and I'm not talking about your family members and your friends. That's a constant, like my work crew that has not, the guys that I've been working with for years have seen me flip 100 houses and have worked on 100 houses of mine. Those guys are constant drips. In fact, I was just texting my AC guy this morning about it. So here's what I do with the answer to your question on these old conversations with old people is I remember them and I have notes on them and I will cater every text to that. And typically it is a text and it is a question-based text and it has to have intrigue. And it might even be a little bold or rude, right? And it may be in fact, I don't know about you, but even if it wasn't you, and you might be like, one of my mentors, one of my coaches, one of my team members, one of the people I work with, had a $70,000 a month, or had, my friend Michael made almost 800,000 or whatever he made, whatever story you want to quickly tell. And then you move right into, did you have a good 2019, everything you wanted it to be? You told me you were interested in real estate. Does that still hold water? Something specific to that person that reminds them that you remembered them specifically. And it's not a call to action, but it is an intrigue. It might even sting a little bit, or it could be a little bit on the gentler side. You know what? I've thought about you. I was talking to my buddy Bill the other day on this call, and all of a sudden your name popped into my head, and I feel like I failed in getting you the information. Do you feel like if I could give you a little bit more information, it might be worth your time? Something that like I spend time thinking about what I'm actually going to text somebody. And I don't text them a statement. I don't text them a call to action. I don't text them anything like that in the beginning. I want to realize, so I am putting the sweetest, fattest worm on the end of my hook and throwing it out into the water so that they can freaking smell it again and see it and taste it, right? So if it's not specific to that person and it's just some random, you're like, oh yeah, I remember Jeff. Hey Jeff, you still interested in real estate? Cool, that's fine. Jeff may or may not still be in, like, yeah, dude, of course I am. Whatever. And then there you have a little cold lead, and good luck with that. You're probably gonna spend a bunch of time on it, feeling like you did some business, and you could have been talking to a new Jeff. All right. So that's how I feel about it, getting up to old people. Now, you mentioned one thing, Andrea, and I love this. I want to send a Facebook hello out to my about my business. So my thought is, if we're gonna start fresh 2020 and start talking about your business and social media, man, you got to make it about other people, and you got to do it subtly, in my opinion. Now, Sandy Girl Clark, some of the other folks in the Renatus are phenomenal. Nate Lambert, they are social media experts. Go back through their social media and start looking what they do. Hit them up if you can, or just go look through their social media. And if you want to do this, spend some time on what it is that you want to do. Learn it for 30 minutes on what they go through, scroll and read 15, 30, 80 posts of theirs. and get an idea of what they're doing. But in my opinion, if I was going to start putting stuff out on my Facebook, I would do it subtly, I would do it slowly, and I would do it consistently, and I would start today. But I would not be like, hey, you guys, just want you to know I'm doing real estate this year, and I did it last year, and I want you to know I'm out here. And if anybody's interested in real estate, give me a call, PM me, and I'll get you the details to my next event. You know what? It's not going to carry much weight. You might get the one big fish, but if you want a large net with a bunch of fish in it, man, I don't know why I'm using fish analogies. I'm a vegan and I hate fishing. So we're going to go a different route. But you guys are not vegan, so you can understand my analogy. LOL, too funny. Fishing is awesome, just saying. All right, Alex, as long as you throw them back. Okay, I'm just kidding. So you guys get what I'm saying. Like spend time on your business, putting it out on, take social media seriously and make it about them and make it about inspiring things that people want to follow and create a system. So today is not the day I know, here's the thing. When we get excited, we're on a team call like this and we're 2020 and we're writing our vision board out, and we're doing our goals and we're starting to make calls and we're writing our list down and we're checking old leads, right? We are freaking Santa Claus right now. And here's the deal. We want to deliver the packages to everybody immediately, but Christmas is 300 and something days away. What I mean by this is that we are setting the stage now. We are developing our business for 2020 now. We're not catching people and enrolling students tomorrow. Now, maybe warm market, there's going to be people we're going to be putting in the pipeline, but if you're doing a social media campaign, it is not to catch fish overnight. We are out like deer hunters, man. If you think about this, they've got these they're setting those things up in the spring, in the fall, before season, 2-3 months out. They're putting up their blinds, they're putting up their tents, they got their area they're going to go to. Same thing with ice fishing. They're preparing for the feast, the catch, the timing of when all these opportunities are to actually enroll students. Okay, so cool. If an IMA was under you and then decide to I'm going to get back to you right up here, Tyler Mead, in just a second. Decide to get back in under someone new as their ICM expired. Who do they fall under? Well, okay. Proud vegan. I love that, Adam Maria. That's awesome. Okay, if an IMA was under you and they decide to get back in under someone new as their ICM expired, who did they fall under? Okay, they have to be out of the company for 6 months. Otherwise, they're automatically back under you. They have to be a non-IMA expired for 6 months before they can re-enroll as a new IMA under somebody else. That is one option for people who don't like their 5-star. They can quit. They can be obsolete to the company, and the company will pretend like they no longer exist anymore because they're not bound by their but it has to be expired for 6 months. Otherwise, after 6 months, they can enroll under whoever they want, and it's if they never existed before and they're a new lead for somebody else. All right, I've got some other. He's awesome, and I'm going to finish with my foundation that I'm going to share with you guys that made my month last month. So here we go, and what is going to do it for you guys. If time permitting, what about people who like their job? Their debt's paid off, house paid off, retirement is looking good, and they are already providing very well for their family and having experiences. Okay, I love it. These are the people you want in here, right? These are the people that if they see the information. Most likely they're going to appreciate it because they've done some of it. Now, if they are not interested in flipping houses, then my question to them, right? Now, remember, no matter what the person's situation, there are the few that are going to be completely broke. Remember, broke and poor are two different things, and I'm not going to spend much time on that. But given a person's situation, they may be down and out and not be capable of getting started at that particular time. And then but they have that desire, right? And they have this burning desire. They'll make something happen because they've done it before in the past, right? They've had ups and downs, and it's time to get back up again. But it's much more fun, and I'll talk about my second one-on-one here in a minute. Yesterday, when you are working with somebody who is in the position to get started. All right. So, but the number one thing we got to remember about this is that we have to be able to share with them an experience or a solution or an opportunity that fits in with what they're looking for. if I was talking to Bill Gates and he was my prospect, the odds of him looking for anything are not there. Okay. I speak to a lot of my investors, not my investors, but people I play with at the tennis club. And remember this, they are retired, right? And most of them are, a lot of these guys that I play tennis with, they're in their 70s, some 80s, and many in their 60s. So they're much, much older than me, like twice my age, laugh out loud. So when I'm talking to them about real estate, it's interesting because they have had their business. These guys are attorneys, doctors, lawyers, and every one of them invested in real estate. And what have they done now? They sold off their real estate and they're living off of it, right? Like, not all of it, they're going to pass some on, but they're so freaking wealthy. They're so done. Renata, they've done Renatas. And so they don't need Renatas. That's one demographic that they don't need to take the risk. They don't need to create more legacy for their family. They've already created it through real estate. So I'm not even having a conversation of inviting them to a meeting. They don't even want to invest their money because they don't need to take the risk. Their money's still growing for them. Their money has grown so much, the tree's too big, they got to trim it. You know what I'm saying? So Tyler, if it's our job, your job with these folks is that we have to create intrigue depending on where they are in their life. Like, hey, have you ever, everything's going well. Have you ever looked at the 1% wealthy and, are you considering, having a legacy for your family? What does that look like? We have to get down to what it is they need. And if they don't know how to take their money and do a Robert Kiyosaki thing where you make more money at the end of the month, they're providing well, they're living their life, they're having experiences. But if they don't own real estate, right, and their majority of their investments are in the stock market, there's been multiple stock crashes, right, where it's affected people's lives and their retirement, right? And so if they're not diversified into real estate and they don't look at the 1% wealthy and see that 75% plus of them have made and or hold their money in real estate, then they may not know everything that they think they know. Doesn't mean that the markets won't go down too, but if they're buying property that is free and clear and they're stacked, like do you think anybody gives a crap if they put 25 million, 30, 80 million into a house because they make 20 million a year as an entertainer or a professional athlete and the market goes up, down, or sideways? It's always going to come back forever, right? If they're in the stock market, they're typically not selling. They're just going to ride out the damn crash, right? Because unless the company's going to go under, then they lose all of it. But in real estate, it doesn't go under. If it burns up, they have insurance. If it goes underwater, they have insurance. If the market crashes to zero, it comes back. And even if they pass on the legacy with the proper entity structure and their kids inherit it with no inheritance tax and they have this entire wealth of real estate free and clear, and then the market goes up and they're already passed along, then their kids have this free and clear income. Like, most people don't understand that. So these folks that are doing well, we would have to determine if the track of retiring in real estate, wealth management and business management would make sense to them. Perhaps even notes and tax liens and deeds. There's 4 tracks that they could be attracted to that type of person may want to consider when it comes to investing. And that would be the part where you watch these classes, whether you've done a 1031 ever in your life or even started your real estate retirement account. You could be talking based on the experience of the class to these folks, and we could tell them, hey, if you think about it, do you know what your investment's doing for you? Like, are you a savvy investor based on putting your money to work? Like, unless you've paid, now they may have paid a really good broker, they might know their financial planner very well, and that person is looking out for them and making them money every year, and they're basically hiring that person to create their money. That's great. Then that's fine. That's the whole point. But if a lot of people are just putting money out into their 401k because they love their job and they have no idea, right, really about their investments, and they're just hoping that at 65 they retire, then boom, you got to bring up the statistics. Like, dude, I understand, but you're 30 or you're 40 or you're 50. Do you know that the average 65-year-old, it doesn't stay in there? Like, if the IRA worked and people could retire in their IRA, we would not be having this conversation. It would not be a broken system. And real estate would not be where most of the wealthy people hold their money. It would all be like, hey, we'd be teaching stock stuff. Okay, you guys get my point. I'm not going to beat that up. I got 17 new messages. All right, this is great stuff. So down here, I'm flipping my first house right now. I work full time, and my time is okay. I got 7 minutes. I got to hit this foundation, you guys. All right. I've had to put marketing on pause. Very little attention to that. How do you recommend balancing work, full time, real estate, and marketing? Okay, so this is going to lead to. I'm just going to check to see if there's anything else. Broker is someone who desires to start but doesn't have the funding. The Get Advanced program can. Yep, you're absolutely right, JD. Thank you, Anthony. I think that's my problem, trying to get them in the program too quick without building the rapport. I'm more like, I see you interested in real estate. Would you? Yeah, I totally agree, Bobby. Some people will go right away, and I'll like my person that I met with yesterday one-on-one before she's ever even didn't even know, but she's so excited about education. Okay, so I love this, you guys. All right, so this is it. I look back and I this is to Cecilia about flipping house, marketing, your job, your life, your full-time, your experiences, your kids, your whole nine. Here's the thing. Renatus is simple, and it's not easy. We've already decided that. We're trying to make Renatus easier. And I define Renatus as just my business, right? Enrolling students, making money, changing lives. And when I look back and I look at some of the numbers that I've had, even this last year, prior to the end of the year, my focus is my life. My focus is my real estate. My focus is what I know best. And there's a reason for that. We don't know what it's like to be successful in Renatus. Therefore, we know what it's like for other people to be successful in Renatus, but we don't know what it's like. So when we don't know something, it's hard to put a finger on it, and it's hard to trust it. It's hard to give into it. It's hard to spend time on it, especially when we start to dip our foot in it and work it a little bit and go to the meetings and start to talk to people, and it fails. And they don't show up, they don't enroll, they don't have the money, and all of the things that could possibly be negative come our way. And the one thing that we do know is, oh, I can flip this house. Instantly, you raise money. Instantly, you put an offer in. Instantly, you get it accepted. Instantly, you're negotiating it. Instantly, you're gonna buy it. All of these things are tangible, touchable, feelable, and you start to see it. And then you know all these stories of all these flips, and the potential profit is there. You can see it, feel it, touch it, taste it. If you don't screw it up, and you didn't buy too high, and you don't spend too much on the rehab, and the market doesn't shift, you're gonna make money. It's like a guarantee. It's like, why would you not spend time on that? If you could just get a deal in today's market and wholesale it, boom, anybody's going to buy it. You're totally right. So you believe in that, and you trust it, and you feel it, and you touch it. And when you make offers and you start to look at MLS, those are things that are giving you feedback, letting you know that you're working and it's going to create a result. When you invite a student and they don't enroll and they don't show up and you can't follow up with them, no results. You want to know what the result is? Negative. You don't like it. When you go to your job, when you work with your kids, when you go to your sports, when you watch a game, when you sit down and barbecue, when you do all of the things that we do, instant gratification. We are satisfied. The result we're looking for comes our way, and we know it, we trust it, we've done it before, we will do it again, and we experience it. We will look back and we will do what we feel comfortable doing, and we will trust that. We don't trust Renatus because we haven't done it yet. And when we haven't done something, so when I look back, and I looked at my number, I was at 80-something thousand, and I needed to get to 150,000 in 2 months. Every day that I thought about my number, the first thing that popped in my head is I can't do this. Like, how am I going to do it? The second thing that popped in was like, everybody's done it. Like, Nate Lambert's done it. Michael Huggins done it. Dane Clark's done it. Everybody's made money. Everybody's enrolled students. Everybody's had phenomenal months. Like, I had to read every single time. I'm like, I can totally do this. Like, just because I've never done it before, somebody else has done it. Like, it's doable. If I do this, right? If I talk to these people, they will enroll. So constantly, right? I look back at my business, and I look back at the actual time I spent on it, talking to new people every single day, and didn't do it. Dane Clark did it this year. made over $250,000, whatever. I don't know if I'm allowed to even say, I don't know what his number is, but all I'm saying is had a phenomenal year, right? He decided to do and made a decision to do a certain thing that he didn't do before that got him the result that he wanted. And so when I look at this and I look at my dedication to my business, right? This balance that you're talking about, it is easy to give up on the marketing. I put marketing on hold. I put the business on hold. I put the events on hold because they're not getting but it's the opposite. If you did just the opposite and you put everything else on hold, like I talked to this guy and he's enrolled in the combo right now. In fact, he's the one who brought me my one-on-one yesterday afternoon. He hasn't even been to one Thursday night, enrolled in the combo, him and his partner, and then they are in. This girl's going to the Saturday this Saturday, and then she's going Thursday next week because I'm doing the presentation. We got it lined up. She's stoked about education. Definitely has the resources. Just she couldn't get enough yesterday. Just in the conversations. And I never even mentioned Renatus. We were just talking education. I never mentioned price. So check this out. My point is he's a golf professional. His life is golf professional. He can golf profession his entire world till he's 90. He can teach golf. Imagine if he didn't. Imagine if he took a 6-month hiatus and focused 100% on enrolling students. His life would change. The potential, he could make more money in 2 months than he makes an entire year as a golf professional. And yet, the thought of him putting on hold being a golf professional for 6 months and just saying, for 6 months, I'm taking a sabbatical, unheard of. There's no way he can fathom that right now, right? But that would be the difference. So what I'm saying is, imagine if we put all this other crap on hold and we went after Renatus. And for me, that's what I did. I actually, in December, I missed a deadline on a closing on a property. I didn't even raise the money. I didn't even talk to the hard money lender. I had a $2,000 earnest deposit on a $600,000 house that I had to close on December 19th. I couldn't even remember the closing date. Why? At the end of October, I had a meeting at my house with my entire team. I rolled out my nationals incentives and I said, well, this is what we're going to do. And I'm 5-star on anybody. Anybody that enrolls is getting this bonus. Anybody that the person they enroll is getting a bonus ticket. I'm going with or without you, and I'm making this money, and I'm going to make the pack number. And so I had to make my own. I had my own number, my own list, and my own people. And I went back to my people that Andrea was talking about that were warm. They were hot. They were still coming in, and I knew they had potential to buy. Then I went with new people. I had to get a hold of my guy Rick in Chicago. I had a new guest, Eric, my neighbor. I had all these new people coming as well. I was raising the dead. I was also giving birth, and I was dealing with my team. And I just told myself that this is what I focused on for 2 months. When I had to make calls or meet up with an inspector, and I had 3 properties that needed inspections, I was not at the property to meet the inspector, and I would fail. And they'd call me up and like, hey, I already have a one-on-one instead, knowing that the inspection's coming that day. But I was hoping they would call me when I didn't have a one-on-one. But if I had a one-on-one set up, I didn't skip it. I refocused all my energy in Renatus and on my Renatus business. That was my main life. That was what I did. And as a result of that, right, I had, between my team and I, over almost 10 people enrolled, and it was a $74,000 month for me in the month of December. $74,000. My biggest month had been about $38,000. And that was last year. And then the year before, and that was 1 month. The year before that was like a $29,000 month. The year before that. So it's something I'd never done before. And so I was able to get over my $150,000 for the year. I still fell $50,000 short on my goal, on my marketing, but I did something I'd never done before. Why? Because I looked back at what I'd been focusing on and I refocused my energy. I gave up on what it was that I'm comfortable in. And I'm telling you guys, if you could look at 2020 and you could go for this amount of time, I'm going to look at what I typically do. I'm going to really give myself an analysis of what time I've spent on freaking Renatus and be honest with ourselves and be like, the reason my business is failing is because I'm not putting time into my business. And if you could change something. And I don't care if it's your kids' projects, your kids' school sporting events, your own personal sports, tennis, football, whatever you play, whatever event you go to, and you change it. If you have a lunch routine that you can't give up, that is your best friends from work, and you go every lunch to this certain spot, or you walk down here and you do something, do it differently. Go sit in your car, bring a freaking bag lunch, and make 5 calls to new people. If you focus differently in the first quarter, and you focus and you say, I'm going to put everything else on hold, my entire life except my one job, which is driving to and from work and being at work. But on my breaks, I'm not going to smoke cigarettes, or I'm not going to, hang out with my group, and I'm not going to catch up on my Facebook. You're going to do something differently. Folks, your focus will get you the results you want. Renatus will be easy. Renatus will become an easy thing. It will become who you are. It's simple right now. And the 4 steps are it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all these. It's 9:04. I got to cut this off. I appreciate, wow. I'm no fisherman, but I think understanding this is how fast you can reel a fish in. It will depend on how deep the hook is. Absolutely. Love it. You're a genius. You guys are geniuses too. I just think everybody on this, Clark, Dane, you are amazing, man. Yep. Dane says you're a genius, brother. If the hook is set lightly, you can't reel it in like you're trying to pull in a whale. That's just a great analogy, man. Relationship building is key. Honing on what's most important to them. Absolutely. You guys, these comments, check these things, get back to this video. It'll be on the, it'll be recorded in the YouTube channel. I just thank everybody. Anne Maria, Scott, James, Lise. Wow. To have you on this phone is just an honor, my friend. We are coming up to Tahoe this year. I know it. It's going to probably be in March, and get some skiing, and maybe even April after nationals. Either way, I got to chat with you. And thank you for all you do. Amazing, my friend, leading the path, you and your wife. It's awesome. Everybody, thank you so much for your time. Rashina, Tracy, Adam Marie, Scott, everybody, Cecilia. I just love you guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to put my phone number in there one more time. Jeff Adams, thank you. 760-533-3141. That's in the chat. 760. Bobby, you're welcome. Michael, you're welcome. Love you guys. Tracy, awesome. Thanks, everybody. 760-533-3141. That's my number. Make it happen. Change your focus. Do what I did, and do what I'm going to do this year, which is absolutely 100%. I am only going to do, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 deals this year at best. And I am focused 100% on changing, 25 people's lives directly this year, and not including my roll-up students from my team. So let's make it happen together. I can't wait to see everybody at Nationals. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. All right, 9:06. I got to end the meeting because we're going long, and I appreciate everybody being on this call. Have a great day. Make it awesome. Make it a great Tuesday. Talk to you soon.